Hi, I'm Delusion Disteller. I'm going to talk to you about post-traumatic stress disorder, something that my husband currently deals with, and I have known other people that also have dealt with it. First of all, post-traumatic stress disorder starts from extreme trauma, traumatic experiences. Some people believe it comes from prolonged trauma. So not just something that happens one time, but something that is sudden and intense and enduring. That's what causes post-traumatic stress disorder. What it means is exactly what it says. Post, after, traumatic stress. After traumatic stress, there's a disorder that happens. The disorder causes people to react and respond in ways that are not healthy to them and also very disturbing to other people. So, post-traumatic stress disorder involves your life and body being assaulted through abuse. When you have post-traumatic stress, generally it comes from extreme pain or even something like a death that's coming up that you know about. You might be dying, somebody else might be dying or have died, or like I said, extreme abuse. It feels kind of like being in a perpetual worst movie you've ever seen, like a horror movie or a slasher film. It's that intense, the feelings that a post-traumatic stress victim feels. They feel helpless, they feel hopeless, sometimes they feel useless and confused and fearful. They have flashbacks sometimes, even during their sleep. During the post-traumatic stress disorder, they attempt to avoid a startle reflex. I know a situation where somebody that had this disorder was sitting in a chair, and I walked up just to be friendly and kind of tipped the chair back just a little to give them a hug, and they freaked out. I mean, they just like jumped up and were very, very scared and startled. Well, that's post-traumatic stress when that happens often. Often the post-traumatic stress patient will develop fears. And the whole point of post-traumatic stress is the attempt to avoid those things that cause them fear. They will resist conversations. They won't participate in things that remind them of the trauma. They do everything they can to avoid talking about it or reliving it or having anything trigger it and remind them of it. A lot of times PTSD people have trouble sleeping. They have trouble staying focused and concentrating on things. Some of them say that they feel numb or exhausted or fatigued. They respond very quickly to things, more so than other people that don't have the disorder. They react rather than act. A lot of times they also act like robots, like a robot would act if a button was pushed. They feel alienated a lot of times, like they don't fit in, like they can't fit in, like they can't partake in something because they would be sticking out like a sore thumb, and they're afraid they might have a reaction that would cause people to be off-put or embarrassed. They're not able to show empathy very well. They're very caught up in their own mind and their own world, their own fears, their own inner locus of control, I guess you could say. They have trouble being passionate. A lot of times there is no physical activities within a marriage to somebody that has post-traumatic stress because it triggers back trauma. They are often paranoid, very impulsive type of people. Sometimes they will self-harm. Sometimes they will lash out at other people because they're triggered. They have some somatic pain, which means like a psychosomatic thing going on where they imagine things in their body that aren't there. They might feel like they have a pain that the doctor can't find any cause of. They feel very angry. They're very reactive people. They react at the drop of a hat, seriously. Anything you say or do will and can be used against you with a post-traumatic stress patient. They don't like themselves very much. They know that they act out. They don't understand why exactly all the time, but even when they do understand why, they're ashamed. They often have trouble functioning on their jobs, at home, at work, in public, in different places. Post-traumatic stress disorder patients, in the original version of this, were people that went away to battle. Now, it still is this case. In the military, that have seen horrific things that most of us here in the United States that have never gone to war don't see except on the news, which is why I don't watch the news, because I feel helpless. I want to save all those people, and there's nothing I can do other than pray, which I don't mean to minimize the power of prayer, but let's face it, if somebody's about to be shot, or a bunch of people are about to be shot, yes, I can pray, but that doesn't guarantee that that's not going to happen somewhere in that nation. So they've seen people shot, they've seen children killed, they've seen people tortured. I mean, they've seen things that none of us, thankfully, have had to see. And I'm very grateful to God that I haven't. But those that have and have gone into battle come back with often post-traumatic stress symptoms, sometimes not seen until a little while after they come back. Some people don't get post-traumatic stress disorder if they're highly resilient. Our counselor, my husband and mine, has told me that they are actually doing this thing now called, I think it's resistance training or something, where they prepare the military people before they go into the military so they don't develop post-traumatic stress disorder. I'm wondering if it's almost like a way to teach them to dissociate the pain and the violence and the torture and the things they're seeing, so that they don't bring it back with them in their psyche, so to speak. Anyways, if you or somebody you know or love, care about, has post-traumatic stress disorder, the best thing I can suggest for you is to get them to a therapist, preferably one that deals with traumatic aftermath events, traumatic injuries, things like that. Not all therapists know how to treat post-traumatic stress disorder, so make sure your therapist is experienced in treating this. Usually cognitive therapy is a good approach to this. There are other therapies that are involved in treating post-traumatic stress disorder, and often medicines are used to help with the anxiety issues and the depression issues that result as a situation regarding post-traumatic stress. So I just thought I would kind of enlighten people in case you didn't know what PTSD was, post-traumatic stress. Often you hear the phrase thrown around these days, oh, well, they just have PTSD. Well, now you know what PTSD is and how it's caused, and hopefully how to get some help for it. Thanks for watching. God bless you. Stay tuned for the next